Okay, so we need to turn our river into topography. We need to create 5-foot intervals of extruded surfaces. Now the issue here is we have a lot of surfaces that are in the exact same plane as each other, and it's a little bit confusing, and we don't want to move any of these off this plane. So let's actually start fresh, and we're going to require our curves for this. So right now, if you highlight this, the only thing that should be selected is 10 surfaces added to that selection, right? Nothing else. When you do that, if it says something else, make sure you turn off all the layers, because this is all we want to select right now. And I know I asked everybody to planar surface this earlier, and I'm going to make everybody delete it now. We're going to do it over. So delete it. Let's go to our curves. Let's turn on our curves, and let's hide everything but our river topography again. So now we're back to where we were initially, right? So let's do this from the beginning. So everybody select the outside profile. This is going to be our lowest point, right? So now that that's selected, we need to create a planar surface for it like we had already done. This way, since all these lines are overlapping each other, we're doing it in a clean manner. So everybody go to your river topo surfaces, because we're going to create a surface, and let's re-planar surfaces surface. And there it is, right? And it's on the right layer. Now I want to extrude this, right? Okay, so let's I got to repeat that because I had it on pause. So let's everybody go to your river topo solid layer, and let's extrude this surface. So let's everybody type extrude surface, and let's go in the positive direction, and let's extrude it 5 feet. Now that we've done that, let's select our surface, and since it's the lowest point of the river, let's move it to the lowest point. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to move vertical, and I'm going to move it negative 20 feet. So I'm typing in negative 20. So you can see now it's moved down to its location. And maybe that's not the exact location, but for now 20 feet is where we're going to place that. We might have to adjust it. Hopefully, let's hope not. So now that we've taken care of this surface, let's click that surface, and let's hide it. We've used it. We don't need it for now because we've used it. So now it's hidden. Right? Now let's also select that curve that we used, and let's hide that too, because we've used it. We don't need it again. So now that's hidden. So what you should have on here is your one solid surface and the rest of your curves here. So let's select the next curve to planar surface. So let's select this one. It's the U-shaped one. Make sure you're on the right layer. Let's go to river topo surfaces, and let's planar surface this. Planar surface. And now let's switch our layers back to the river topo solid, and let's extrude this one as well. Extrude surface, and extrude it 5 feet. So now we've done the exact same process again, just for a different shape. And now we have that one. So let's select that one, and let's move it downward 15 feet. Intervals of 5, right? So we started at 20, now this one's, oop, that's positive, wrong direction. Negative 15 feet. And then now let's hide that surface that we used and get it out of our hair. And let's also select the curve that we used for that, and let's hide that as well. So now you see how we're starting to build up these extrusions on top of each other? So let's do the next ones. And I'm going to do 2 at a time now, because this one right here and this one right here are at the same level. So let's get on the right layer here. Let's go to river topo surfaces. Now we can create our surfaces. Now we want to extrude those surfaces, right? So let's go to our solid. Let's select those surfaces. And you can hold down Shift to select more than one surface at a time. And let's extrude those up just the same fashion. And we're going to extrude them 5 feet. And then we're going to select those two surfaces. And we're going to move them downward -10 feet. Now that we've done that, let's hide our surfaces because we don't need those. So it's just the same process over and over again. And let's select those curves. Let's make sure we select the right ones here. It's that one, because it's going to mimic exactly what we just created. And that one. And let's hide those. So it looks like we got a couple more here to do. So let's do the next row, the next set. So make sure you're on the right layer here. Surfaces. We're going to planar surface. Then let's go to the solid layer. Let's make both these things solid. Extrude surfaces. We're going to go 5 feet. Now we're going to select these solids and we're going to move them down -5 feet. And we see how we're slowly starting to build this thing up. And so now let's select those curves that we used. And it's starting to get muddy because now we're finally at the plane that we're supposed to be at, right? So it looks like we're at the exact same plane here. So I didn't actually move all of the solids far enough down. So let's select all those solids. And if you click one, hold down Shift, you can select more solids, right? And you can do it like that. The other way to do it is, since we're on such a clean layer, we can go to solids and go select objects, and let's move them down. Let's move them 10 feet downward, so -10 feet. And now you see our surfaces that we had there reappear because we've moved all the information down. So let's hide those surfaces because we already used them. So I'm selecting both of them and I'm doing hide. And let's also select the curves that we used to create those surfaces. And let's hide those. Looks like we might have an extra line in here. Something that should not exist. Yeah. So if everybody sees this right here, there's this weird U-shape line. That's extra information. It shouldn't be there. So if you see that, go ahead and just delete it. Sorry about that. So let's select our next two. And let's do the same process again. So let's go to the right layer, planar surface. And if you notice, the curves are still highlighted, right? I did planar surface, the surfaces were created, and the curves that we used are still highlighted, right? So what's a faster way? We're planning on hiding these curves anyways, right? And since they're already selected, let's hide them now. And now they're already hidden. So I'll do that again, just in case nobody caught it, just in case. So I'm going to select those same two again. I'm going to do planar surface. And before I click anywhere on the screen, those two curves that I created the planar surfaces are still highlighted. So I'm going to hide them already because I'm planning on hiding them anyways. So now they're hidden. So let's do the same process again. Let's make them solid. So let's extrude those surfaces. And let's go 5 feet. Now, does everybody notice something again? The surfaces, they're selected still, right? The ones we created these extrusions from, they're still highlighted. And I'm planning on hiding those anyways, and since they're already selected, let's hide them. Right? And so now all we got here is the two solids. So I'm going to select both those solids, and I'm going to move them vertically, and I believe I need to move them -10 feet. And now all that's left is two more. So we got this one and this one. I'm going to go to the right layer here. I'm going to do planar surface. Then I'm going to hide the curves. Now I'm going to select those surfaces, and I'm going to go to the solid layer, and I'm going to extrude them. So extrude surface. I'm going to go 5 feet. Now that the surfaces are still highlighted, I'm going to hide them. And then now all I have left is the solids, so I'm going to select those solids. I'm going to type move vertical, and I'm going to move them -5 feet. And we made it through every single topo layer. So this is how the river looks. The reason why there's this U shape right here is because the direction of the water is traveling downward, right? This river is meant to send water to the ocean. And so right here it's higher, and right here it's lower because water is traveling in this direction. And so that's why we have this U shape here. Okay, so let's see if this is at the right height. Hopefully it is, and the best way to check that is let's turn on our street surfaces. Once those are turned on, and I'm going to zoom in right here to see what's going on. It looks like they're on the same plane, right? So I've now created our river.